If in 30 seconds you don't feel your body lighter and your energy change, you can close this video. The ancient wisdom of Thoth reveals a secret to eternal youth that 99% of people ignore. But I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. First, I'm going to prove to you that the mechanism works for you right now. Wherever you are, stop. Stand up and feel the weight of your body on your feet. Now slowly bend forward and try to touch the ground without forcing it. Notice the tension, the stiffness in your lower back and the back of your legs. Memorize this sensation. Now squat completely with your heels on the ground if possible and hold this position for just 10 seconds. Take a deep breath. Now stand up and try to touch the ground again. Did you feel the difference? The relief, the slight release in your spine? There you go. You just glimpsed the language your body had forgotten. You felt in real time the power to break free from vertical confinement. This isn't a stretch, it's a reset command. You've already received the first delivery, an immediate change in bodily state. Now I'm going to show you why this stiffness set in the first place and reveal the exact movement pattern that modern life has stolen from you. Further on, I'll give you the complete sequence of 5 daily movements that act as a neural reprogramming for your body. And when your system is ready, I'll reveal the purest crawling pattern, the true Thoth key to vitality. Stay with me, because without the complete sequence, the effect you just felt won't take hold. Let's begin. Lack of activity destroys the good condition of any human being, while movement and methodical physical exercise save and preserve it. This decision to descend to the ground leads us directly to a question: what exactly are we seeking down there? The answer is simple: we are seeking to reclaim a language. Before gyms with mirrors everywhere and machines that isolate every muscle in your body existed, our original training ground was the ground. The earth, in its simplicity, offered us everything. It was our teacher, our guide, our training partner. Observe a small child. They don't need instructions. Instinctively, they explore the world by crawling, rolling, squatting, and standing up in 1,000 different ways. This exploration is not random. It is evolution in action. Each of these movements is a brick in the construction of a strong body and a connected mind. When a baby crawls, it is not just moving from point A to point B. It is developing strength in the shoulders, stability in the hips, mobility in the spine, and, most importantly, it is creating powerful neural connections. This is the natural language of the human body, a direct dialogue with gravity and the environment around us, which builds a solid foundation of strength, coordination, and spatial awareness. The problem is that at some point, most of us stop speaking this language. Adulthood arrives, and with it the chair, the sofa, the car. The fluidity of childhood is replaced by the rigidity of modern life. And so we completely lose fluency in this body language. Returning to these primordial movements is not regressing or becoming a child again in a pejorative sense. It's an act of rescue. It's like finding an old instruction manual for your own body, a manual that modern life has done everything to make you forget. What most people don't know, and what modern science is beginning to confirm, is that this lost language is the key to reactivating dormant internal systems. Think of your body as a complex ecosystem. When you stop using certain movement patterns, entire parts of that ecosystem begin to wither. Stabilizing muscles shut down, joints lose their range of motion, and communication between the brain and body becomes filled with noise and interference. By refusing to speak this language, you are, in practice, sending a message to your body that it no longer needs to be resilient, adaptable, or strong. You are telling it that life is now predictable, linear, and limited to a few repetitive movements. And the body, being an incredibly efficient adaptation machine, obeys. It becomes exactly what you demand of it: rigid, weak, and limited. The good news is that this language is never completely forgotten. It is merely dormant. The question remains: if this way of moving is so fundamental and beneficial, why have we abandoned it? What happened in our society that led us to believe that sitting for hours on end is normal, while moving on the floor is strange? The answer is not a simple accident of history. It was a process, a series of choices we made as a civilization that sold us an idea of progress and comfort. But this sale came at a very high cost, a cost we are paying with our own vitality. But how exactly has modern life sabotaged us and disconnected us from this source of power? The invisible prison of modern life. The answer to this question leads us to confront an uncomfortable truth about the world we have built. Modern life made us a tempting promise, the promise of comfort and convenience, and it delivered. Today, we have ergonomic chairs, sofas that hug us, cars that take us anywhere effortlessly. But this promise came at a price that wasn't written in the contract. The price was our own vitality. Without realizing it, we traded freedom of movement for a comfortable prison, an invisible and vertical cage. Think about your daily routine. You wake up, sit down for coffee, sit in the car or on public transport, sit in a chair at work for 8 hours, return home sitting down, and finally collapse on the sofa to rest. Your body spends most of the day bent at a 90-degree angle. This routine, repeated day after day, year after year, acts like a mold, forcing your body to adapt to this limited shape. It's a prison that doesn't have iron bars, but is equally effective in keeping us confined. This constant immobility is a silent thief. It steals the mobility of your hips, which were made to move in all directions. It steals the flexibility of your shoulders, which were designed to reach, pull, and push. And, perhaps most seriously, it steals the fluidity of your spine, transforming a structure that should be agile and dynamic into a rigid and painful block. The stiffness, the back pain, the discomfort in the knees that so many feel and blame on age are, in fact, cries for help from a trapped body. These are symptoms of a body that has forgotten how to move. It yearns to stretch, to twist, to connect with its fundamental nature. But we ignore it. We continue following the script, believing that rest is the absence of movement, when in fact, true rest for a healthy body is varied and conscious movement. Modern life has taught us to outsource our movement to machines, promising health in pills and packages, while our bodily autonomy fades away. The good news, and here's the key point, is that every prison has an escape. There is a way to reprogram our bodies so that they break free from this vertical cage. And the method to do this doesn't require expensive equipment or luxury gym memberships. It's so simple, so fundamental, that it seems almost unbelievable to a mind conditioned to seek complex solutions. The key to escaping this prison lies in relearning to use the oldest and most powerful tool we possess: our own body in contact with the ground. This method is, in essence, a system reset. It's like pressing the reset button on your computer when it's slow and freezing. By returning to fundamental movement patterns, you begin to rewrite the code that a sedentary lifestyle has corrupted. You begin to remind your body how it was designed to function. But this reprogramming isn't just physical. It goes much deeper, reaching the command center of your body, your brain. This idea of reprogramming leads us into fascinating territory. The movements we learn in childhood, like crawling and rolling, aren't just games or physical exercises. They are, in fact, powerful neural programming tools. When you get down on the ground and start moving on all fours, something incredible happens. You activate what we call cross-movement patterns. This means your right arm moves in sync with your left leg and your left arm with your right leg. It sounds simple, but the effect on your brain is profound. This cross-coordination is the basis of how we learn to walk. It forces the two hemispheres of the brain, the right and the left, to communicate intensely and efficiently. It's like building a high-speed bridge between two cities that barely spoke to each other. This enhanced communication improves overall coordination, reflexes, and your brain's ability to process information and control your body. It's literally a reset for your central nervous system, rewriting the code that a sedentary and linear life has corrupted. Consider the almost robotic stiffness we see in the movement of so many adults. Heavy steps, arms that barely swing, difficulty turning or bending. This is the result of a nervous system that has forgotten how to integrate the body as a whole. By practicing these movements on the floor, we begin to rediscover fluid mobility. The spine, which previously behaved like a piece of wood, begins to move segment by segment. The hips and shoulders loosen, and we rediscover a strength in ranges of motion that we thought we had lost forever. This isn't an abstract theory. It's a neurological process. By moving in new and challenging ways, you're creating new neural pathways, a process known as neuroplasticity. You're teaching your brain to find more efficient and safer movement solutions. That's why, initially, these movements may seem strange and difficult. Your brain is being forced out of autopilot and to pay attention, to learn something new. This initial strangeness is the signal that change is happening. The freedom you gain from moving confidently on the floor translates directly into freedom to move in life. You become more agile, more resilient to falls and injuries, and more able to perform daily tasks with ease and without pain. What begins as a simple exercise on the floor transforms into a new way of inhabiting your own body, with more grace, more power, and a vitality that radiates from within. It's neurological training disguised as simple movement. Now, you might be wondering, where do I begin? How do I take the first practical step on this reprogramming journey? The answer lies in a specific movement, a movement that serves as a portal, a diagnostic test that will immediately reveal where your greatest weaknesses and limitations lie. It's strange, challenging, and incredibly effective, and it will show you, bluntly, how much modern life has imprisoned you. The first challenge, the crab portal. The time has come to take the first practical step, and this step isn't forward, but to a place your body probably hasn't visited in a long time. Here's your gateway to this rediscovery, the first challenge, the front crab pose. Sit on the floor, Place your hands behind your body with your fingers pointing forward or to the sides and lift your hips. Just maintaining this position will be a challenge for many. This movement, which seems like child's play, is actually a brutally honest diagnosis of your body's current state. Each step you attempt in this position forces your hips to compress and your ankles to bend in a way they were designed to do, but rarely do in modern life. You will feel a waking in joints that were dormant, perhaps even initial discomfort. This is normal. It's the sound of your body waking from a long sleep. The stiffness you feel is not a sign that you shouldn't do the movement, but rather proof that you desperately need it. At the same time, by supporting your body weight with your hands, you are performing fundamental strengthening work for your wrists, elbows, and shoulders. In our daily routine, we rarely put load on our wrists in this way. Therefore, they become fragile and susceptible to injury. The front crab pose reverses this process, preparing your joints to withstand loads and for the more complex movements that will follow. It's building the foundation, brick by brick. The strangeness you feel when moving like a crab is the remedy itself. Our lives are dominated by predictable and linear movements. Walking, sitting, standing. The crab breaks this predictability. It forces your brain to think differently, to coordinate your limbs in an unusual way. This shock to the system is a powerful antidote to the mental and physical stagnation imposed by routine. It's an invitation to think outside the box, literally, and explore new possibilities of movement. This is not an exercise to be rushed. The quality of movement is everything. Feel each joint working, each muscle engaging to stabilize you. Observe the difficulties, the asymmetries between the right and left sides. This movement is a mirror reflecting years of inadequate postural and movement patterns. Approach this information not with judgment, but with curiosity. You are collecting data for your own transformation, identifying the points that need more attention and care. But moving forward, even in such an unusual way, is only part of the story. We live in a three-dimensional world, but we move as if it only had one dimension. True power, true freedom of movement begins to be unlocked when you dare to break this linear pattern and explore the planes that have been forgotten. What happens when you start moving sideways? The answer will awaken parts of your body you didn't even know existed. After exploring forward movement with the crab, it's time to break the barrier of linearity. Think about it. Almost everything we do in our daily lives happens in the sagittal plane, that is, forward and backward. We walk forward, we sit forward, we drive forward. Our world trains us to be one-dimensional, but the human body was designed for complexity, for three-dimensionality. And this is where the power of lateral movement comes in, a universe of strength and stability that most people completely ignore. Still in the crab pose, instead of moving forward, try moving to the side. Immediately, you'll feel something different. Muscles that were quiet during the forward movement suddenly scream. You're awakening the power of your obliques, the lateral muscles of your abdomen, and the strength of your gluteus medius and minimus, responsible for the lateral stability of your hips. These are the muscles that protect you from knee and ankle sprains and that give you the agility to change direction quickly. Each lateral movement demands a level of motor control that forward movement doesn't require. You need to push off the ground with one hand and one leg while the other pair moves, demanding fine coordination and dynamic stability of the shoulders and hips. This is fundamental not only for athletes who need to perform cuts and pivots, but for anyone who wants to avoid falls in daily life. The ability to move confidently sideways is a forgotten superpower. As we become multidimensional again, we break the invisible chains of linear movement. We stop behaving like robots, programmed to follow a single line, and begin to move like the graceful and powerful animals we are at our core. This exploration of the frontal plane, the side-to-side movement, rebalances the body, correcting muscular imbalances created by years of one-dimensional movement. It's as if you were rewiring circuits that have been switched off for a long time. This practice goes beyond strengthening. It reprograms your spatial perception. You begin to feel more aware of the space around you, more confident to move in complex and unpredictable environments. Rigidity gives way to fluidity, and the fear of movement is replaced by the joy of exploration. In practice, you are expanding your body map in the brain, adding new routes and possibilities that did not exist before. Now that we've prepared the body in these two dimensions, exploring forward and sideways movement, we're ready to take the next step. We're ready to unite all of this into a pattern that is considered by many experts to be the purest, most fundamental, and most impactful of all ground movements. A pattern that is the very essence of human locomotion and holds the key to a complete reorganization of your nervous system. The revelation, the purest movement pattern. Now we arrive at the heart of this ancient knowledge. After preparing the body and awakening dormant joints and muscles, we are ready for the revelation. This is the central secret, the purest crawling pattern, and the essence of primordial movement. Quadrupedal walking. Get on all fours with your hands directly under your shoulders and your knees under your hips, but with your knees floating a few inches off the ground. From here, the movement is instinctive. Opposite hand moves with the opposite foot. Exactly the same pattern we used to crawl when we were babies. It may seem simple, almost banal, but the depth of what happens in your body and brain during this movement is extraordinary. This cross-coordination, which we have already mentioned, reaches its maximum potential here. It acts as a balm for the nervous system, forcing a perfect synchronization between the two sides of the brain and body. It is a form of meditation in motion, a reconnection so profound that few exercises can replicate it. You are, in practice, restoring your body's original operating system. As you move, your spine is invited to participate in a way it rarely does. Instead of behaving like a rigid block, it learns to move fluidly, with small rotations and flexions that distribute the load evenly and healthily. This not only relieves accumulated tension, but also nourishes the intervertebral discs, keeping your spine young and resilient. At the same time, your core, the center of your body, needs to constantly work to maintain stability, building deep and functional strength. Don't be fooled by its simplicity. Quadrupedal walking is an exercise that challenges the entire body and puts even the most conditioned athletes to shame. The strength and endurance of the shoulders, arms, back, abdomen, hips, and legs are tested simultaneously. There's no cheating. Every inch of progress requires conscious and integrated effort. It's neurological training disguised as simple movement, a direct path to building functional longevity and overflowing vitality. Practicing this movement daily, even for just a few minutes, is what ancient wisdom points to as one of the master keys to staying young forever. This is not a trick or a quick fix, but a return to our fundamental programming. It is an act of honoring our body's design and reclaiming the strength and grace that rightfully belong to us. This pattern is the foundation upon which all other more complex human movements are built. But this is not the end of the journey. Walking on all fours with the belly facing the ground is only one side of the coin. It represents a type of strength and coordination. To complete the system and create a truly balanced and resilient body, we need to explore the opposite pattern. We need to reverse the position and challenge our bodies in a completely new way, awakening a strength that most of us don't even know we possess. Now that we've mastered the fundamental pattern with the belly down, let's reverse the position and explore a completely different force. We'll return to the all-fours position, but this time with our belly up, in the same initial crab position. From here, instead of moving sideways, we'll move forward. This is the forward shift, one of the most underrated and yet most powerful movement patterns for rebalancing the body. You'll feel the difference immediately. By moving forward in this position, you intensely activate the extension force of your shoulders, a range of motion that modern life rarely explores. We spend our days with our arms outstretched in front of us, typing, driving, eating. Our shoulders rarely need to extend backward under load. This movement corrects that imbalance, opening the chest, strengthening the back of the shoulders, and dramatically improving posture. It's the perfect antidote to slouching. Meanwhile, your entire posterior chain, the muscles in the back of your body, kicks in. Your glutes, hamstrings, and calves need to work in unison to keep your hips elevated and propel your body forward. This is true functional strength, the ability to integrate multiple muscle groups to perform a complex task. You're building the kind of strength that allows you to safely lift heavy objects off the ground and run with more power. Your wrists also receive a unique stimulus. They are strengthened at an unusual angle, with the body weight resting on them as they move. This increases the resilience of the joints in a way that traditional exercises cannot, preparing your wrists to withstand heavier loads and preventing common injuries. It's like forging the foundations of your body, ensuring they can support any structure you want to build upon them. The forward displacement is a complete body reset. The synchronization of opposite hand and foot, now in a new orientation, continues to refine the communication between the brain and the body, building rhythm and fluidity. It seems like child's play, and in fact it is. But within this playful simplicity lies the wisdom of a lifetime of healthy movement. It's a reminder that the most effective training isn't always the most serious or the most complicated. This movement, combined with quadrupedal walking, creates a perfect balance between the anterior and posterior muscle chains, the front and back of your body. You are building a body that is not only strong in one direction, but robust and balanced on all sides. But there is still one piece missing from this three-dimensional puzzle. We have already moved forward in both positions. Now we need to explore lateral movement in this new orientation, and this will take the challenge to a whole new level. Awakening dormant muscles with lateral movement. Maintaining the same position as the front crawl, with your belly up and hips raised, the challenge now is to move laterally. If you found the side crab challenging, get ready, because this movement raises the difficulty and benefits to a new level. By moving to the side in this position, you awaken muscles that have probably been in a deep sleep for years. maybe decades. It's a true muscle awakening, reaching the deepest layers of your body. The lateral strength of the hips, especially the glutes and abductors, is activated in an intense and unique way. They need to work hard not only to move the body sideways, but mainly to stabilize the pelvis and prevent the knees from collapsing inward. This is one of the most powerful exercises for building injury-proof hips and generating power in activities that require changes of direction. You are building a solid and stable base from the center of your body. As your hips work, your obliques and the entire side of your torso ignite. With each movement, you'll feel a deep contraction, like wringing out a wet towel. This is an activation that traditional abdominal exercises, like crunches, can never replicate. You're building a truly three-dimensional core, a cylinder of strength that protects your spine and efficiently transfers energy between your upper and lower body. Your shoulders are also put to a new level of challenge. They need to learn to dynamically stabilize under load while the body moves in a non-linear plane. This develops what we call rotational shoulder stability, an essential quality for any activity involving throwing, pushing, or simply carrying objects. You become more agile, more reactive, and much more adaptable to any physical demands life throws your way. This simple, primal movement reconnects us with our innate athletic nature. It reminds us that we were made to move in complex and varied ways. The combination of strength, mobility, and coordination required by this exercise reflects the very complexity of life. By practicing it, you are not just training muscles. You are training your ability to adapt, solve problems, and move through the world with confidence and grace. Now, the circle is almost complete. We have explored the ground. We have reconnected with the earth, moving forward, backward, and sideways in different orientations. We have awakened our bodies and reprogrammed our brains. We have reclaimed our grounding. But the wisdom of Thoth speaks of balance. If crawling roots us to the earth, one last step is missing to complete the journey. The connection with the sky is missing. After deeply reconnecting with the earth, after relearning the language of the ground, it's time to complete the circuit. It's time to look up and connect with the sky. The journey that began on the ground culminates in an act of inversion, in turning our world upside down. The most emblematic form of this is the handstand. But don't be alarmed. The goal here is not to become an Olympic gymnast, but rather to explore the principle behind the movement. The inversion isn't just about balance. It's about shifting your perspective, both physically and mentally. By supporting your body weight on your hands, with your shoulders fully extended overhead, you explore a range of motion that most adults actively avoid. It's the exact opposite of the seated posture. You're opening your body, lengthening your spine, and defying gravity in a completely new way. It's an act of courage and trust in your own body. The process of learning to flip yourself over is just as important as the end result. You learn to fall. You learn to roll, to protect yourself, to adapt to the unexpected. Each failed attempt is not a mistake, but a valuable lesson in body control and resilience. You learn to find calm amidst chaos, to maintain focus when your world is upside down. This mental skill transfers to all other areas of your life, making you more resilient in the face of adversity. If crawling roots us, gives us a solid foundation, and connects us with the energy of the earth, inversion elevates us, connects us with space, and gives us a feeling of lightness and freedom. It is the perfect balance between being grounded and being free. With your palms firmly planted on the ground, like roots, and the rest of your body extending towards the sky, you become the very bridge between these two worlds. You become the embodiment of Thoth's wisdom. This practice completes the system, creating a body that is strong, mobile, resilient, and adaptable in all planes and orientations. A body that feels at home both on the ground and in space. A body that does not fear the unknown, but embraces it as an opportunity for growth. Reclaiming the ground was the first step in reclaiming life in its entirety. And in each of these movements, from the simplest crawl to the most challenging inversion, we find the promise of rediscovered youth. This youth is not measured by the absence of wrinkles, but by the presence of vitality. It is the youth of a body that moves without pain, a mind that is clear and focused, and a spirit that is curious and fearless. It is the freedom of knowing that you have the tools to keep your body and mind healthy throughout your life, not depending on external solutions, but trusting in the wisdom that has always been within you, waiting to be awakened. If you've made it this far, you're no longer the same person who started this video. You've received knowledge that has the power to completely change your vitality. You understand that youth is not something that is lost, but something that is reclaimed through conscious action. Now the choice to apply this is in your hands. To let me know you've completed this journey with me, leave the phrase "I claim the ground" in the comments. That way, I'll know who is truly committed to awakening their own body. If you found this content valuable and want to help this channel grow and spread more messages like this, there's a more direct way to contribute. In the first pinned comment, you'll find a link to support our work. Any help you can give is very important to me and to the growth of the channel, allowing us to continue producing content. But understand, just the fact that you watched until the end is already a huge help. And if you can share this video with someone who needs to hear this, you'll already be making a big difference. And before you leave, the journey doesn't end here. I've prepared a special video for you to take the next step, delving even deeper into how to integrate this wisdom into your daily life in a practical way. Don't leave yet. Click on the video that's appearing on the screen now and let's meet there.